Oh, hello there. My name's Lauren Brake. You may remember me from previous creative projects such as The Lord of the Flies Rap. But today I'm here to speak to you about a new work, Macbeth, a tragic play written by Shakespeare many, many years ago. We start the play off with three witches who are speculating what they will do to Macbeth. And then, Scotland's in a war, and then bada bing, bada boom, they say it's gonna be over, and then it's over. And they realistically give away the entire play, which is just what they keep on doing. We then meet Duncan and the Thanes, and because the Thane of Cawdor was a traitor, Duncan decides to make Macbeth the new Thane of Cawdor. And I guess he just didn't really have witches telling him what was gonna happen because Macbeth becomes the traitor. Realistically. But Macbeth does not know he's the new Thane of Cawdor, so when the witches appear and tell him that first he's Thane of Glamis, which he now is, he already is, then he's going to be Thane of Cawdor, and then he'll be king hereafter, he's thinking, no, that's just not going to happen, that would be really weird. And then, Banquo says, well, what's in it for me? What's going to happen to me? And they say, oh, thou shalt have kings, that thou shalt be none. And he's thinking, okay, at least my sons will be kings. And then, two of the Thanes run up and say, hey, Macbeth, guess who's the new Thane of Cawdor? That's right, that's you, buddy. And then Macbeth thinks, oh, hey, guess I, will become king. And then his ambition is sparked. He gets someone to go tell his wife, who realistically, in this day and age, would be put into a mental hospital because she's crazy. Who says, unsex me? Fill me from the tip to the toe full of direst cruelty, so, you are crazy. You are a wannabe witch because you act more insane than they do. They seem more normal than you do. And they're, prophesizing the future, and you just seem like a sociopath. But then, Duncan decides he's gonna go visit Lady Macbeth at Macbeth's castle. So, Lady Macbeth says, hey, honey, guess what we're doing tonight? And tells him to look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent underneath it. Because, they gotta kill Duncan. They gotta become king. She wants to be queen. She will be queen of Scotland, whether he likes it or not. And then he says, but, I don't really want to. I have nothing to spike my interest in doing it. I have no reason to kill him. And she says, you're a coward. You will do it. And then because he's whipped, he does it. And then automatically he feels, oh my god, I cannot believe what I just did, Neptune's oceans will never rinse this blood from my hand. And she says, hey, get over it. And then she goes and she frames all the guards for it. And then we think, oh my god, she really is insane. She really is that crazy. And then, right after that, Macduff and Lennox show up to get Duncan, only to discover that he's been brutally butchered. And since the guards are smeared with blood, Macbeth just kills the guards out of, loyalty and anger. Because, Macbeth was Duncan was his main man. And I guess that's just why he killed Duncan himself, because they were too good of friends and he was too loyal to them. So why not just kill the person you're loyal to? Then Duncan's sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, run away. Malcolm goes to England, and then Donalbain just goes to Ireland and never comes back. He's out of the play for good. Because there's daggers in men's smiles, and they're afraid, I guess, because they feel they're gonna be next. And then the third prophecy happens, and Macbeth is made the king of Scotland. He goes and stands on that rock with the feet groves in it, and then bam! And then we think, wow, the witches were really right. I guess, we just have to make it happen. But then, I guess, Macbeth starts to think, hey, why did I kill Duncan? I mean, I have a fruitless scepter. A barren crown. Nothing's gonna come of this. After I die, it'll all be for naught. So, why don't I just go and kill Bango and then his 10-year-old son Fleance, just to be safe so that they won't be it. Even though, Macbeth, you ain't getting no heirs out of that. You still don't have any kids to become heirs after you. Okay, you haven't made your Prince of Cumberland either, so no one knows who will be king after you. And then, epically Fleance escapes and is not killed, so Macbeth is ultimately screwed. And then at the supper, he sees Banquo's ghost, and we think, is he crazy, or is this something the witches have done, or is it actually a ghost that just no one else can see? I'm willing to bet he's crazy. Maybe you should have locked him up then. And once his wife can't, con him back into just calming down, she tells all the lords to go home because she's really embarrassed. Because not only is she full of ambition, she's full of pride. And let's just say her husband's a little bit embarrassing, to say the least. And then, finally by Act 3, Scene 6, all the Thanes begin to think, hey, maybe this was Macbeth all along. Maybe he was the one who killed Duncan. Maybe he was the one who killed Banquo. Maybe he's just on a killing spree. So Macduff goes to England to get Malcolm to bring back an army to regain Scotland. Because they should have done that forever ago. I mean, realistically, yes. But, Macbeth's getting a little freaked out. He's getting a little antsy, so he just decides that he's gonna go and see the witches just to make sure everything's gonna be a-okay. So they give him 3 new apparitions. The first is an armed head telling him to beware Thane of Fife, beware Macduff. And then the second is a bloody baby telling him no man born of a woman will harm you. And the third is a child with a crown saying, hey, Burnham Wood will go to Dunsinane Castle before you will be harmed. So, hey, don't worry about it. The forest would have to walk. But instead of just being happy, he asks the witches, hey, well, what about Banquo? And bada bing, bada boom, they show him all of Banquo's kids who will be the kings. And he freaks out, because why not? All this was still for naught. But even though then he thinks, hey, maybe I really shouldn't have trusted them. They've kind of screwed up my life. Why not? Let's just go kill Macduff's family anyways, just in case. Because why not? Why would we kill Macduff when we could kill his wife and babes? Let's just go do that. And then we see Macduff and Malcolm, and he's finally convinced Malcolm to bring an army back to England when Ross comes in and says, hey, your wife's been killed. Guess that sucks. And Macduff thinks, yeah, I have to kill Macbeth. No one else can kill him because I have to wreak revenge. Even though Malcolm's, father was killed. It has to be Macduff. And then in the last act, Lady Macbeth is finally feeling bad. She's coming out with it in her sleepwalking/sleep talking to her doctor and servant, saying, hey, they did it all. It was all her and Macduff. Or Macbeth. Ugh. And then they think, oh my god, what are we gonna do? So they just ignore it because, that's just what you do when someone's been killing people. You just ignore it. And then all of a sudden the war has started. And all those guys just said they were in Burnham Wood and they chopped down the branches and carried them. So the Burnham Wood really was coming to Dunsinane Castle because that would actually look like the forest was walking and it wouldn't look like 40-year-old men holding up trees. Just let that sink in, how that would actually look. And then, Macbeth is singing, oh my god, maybe the witches were wrong, but no, I still have known they were all born of women. No one's not born of a woman. But in an act of complete, support, Lady Macbeth just goes and kills herself because nothing says good luck like suicide. So, Macbeth just decides to go and, hey, let's kill a few more people. Let's kill the General Seward's son. And then Macduff comes in and says, hey, I was untimely ripped from my mother's womb. Which back then meant you were born of a cesarean section, which apparently you're not born of a woman, you're born of a stomach. Hence creating an epic loophole because he wasn't really, That second apparition is gone. Bada bing, bada boom, he cuts off Macbeth's head, which we realize that armed head was the first apparition. That was actually Macbeth coming back to warn himself about Macduff. And everyone's happy. They realize that Lady Macbeth and Macbeth were crazy and Malcolm's king. And that's it. Thank you for tuning in to this wonderful programming.